Hey guys, what is going on? I hope you guys are doing great. It's Black Friday and I hope you guys are safe out there because, man, just take a look at this. Wow. Like people rushing into a store, bro, like in the low. Like, this is crazy, bro. Look at that. Oh my God. Wow. Anyways. That's what happens every year on Black Friday. You know, people rush to get the good deals. Even online, people are rushing to buy, the cheaper plugins. I don't know if you checked out my Black Friday video on my recommendations of plugins that you can buy on Black Friday. So today in this video, I'm going to show you vocal processing using stock plugins in case you didn't purchase anything on Black Friday. And this is a track that I made and I used my favorite, vocal processing plugin, Isotope Nectar, and I also used a CLA2A from Waves and a de-esser as well from Waves. So in case you haven't purchased anything or you don't have any add-on plugins, this is your video. I'm going to show you how you can get really professional vocals using stock FL Studio plugins. Okay, let's jump into it. So I'm going to play this track as it sounds now, as the vocals sound now with these plugins, and then I'm gonna mute all these plugins that I used, and then I'm gonna start the vocal from scratch using stock plugins only. Okay, so let me play this back.
It consumed all my flows. Real and go, yeah. Go come lighter, and me and I'm a fighter. I always win. Yeah.
So that's the vocal. So as you can hear that the vocal is very dynamic. You can see there's some really quiet parts and some really loud parts, but it sounds consistent the whole way. This is the processing that I put in. That's why I have an extra compressor on there, the CLA2A, to help, also bring down the vocal, and kind of smooth it out. So what I have using this Isotope Nectar, as you can see, the stuff that is turned on, it's a gate, EQ, 2 compressors, some saturation, and a limiter just to add a little bit of gain, just to give it a little bit of volume over there. So this is why I love this Isotope Nectar, because it has everything you need for vocals in one place. You also have your pitch correction, like if you want to add a little bit of pitch correcting auto-tune style. You have breath control if you want to take out like breaths before someone actually sings, and you have a doubler as well. You have delay, and you also have reverb. So I like using this suite because it has everything in. I just load it once and it does everything that I need. I don't have to load in like a whole stack of plugins. But if you don't have this, you can definitely use FL Studio stock plugins and you will get the same results. So that's what we're doing, as I said. So I'm just going to mute the vocal on its own. Okay, so it's semi-dry. It only has the reverb and the delay, but I'll just switch those off. So first what we want to do is we just want to add an EQ, parametric EQ2. So as you can see, there isn't so much low-end information, but I'm just going to go ahead and shelve that out, maybe like minus 10 dB. And you can see over here, this vocal is very present over that frequency. I'm just going to make this EQ bigger. I'm just going to drop that frequency down a little bit. It's like 3 dB. And then I want to add a little bit of highs to his voice. So what I'm going to do is that this little node over here on the edge, number 7, is usually a shelf. Like you can see, it's a shelf. So I don't want to use it as a shelf. So I'm just going to right click, change the type to peaking so that it becomes a peaking. So I just want to increase some of the frequencies, like around 5 here or something. Just like 3 dB. Just like that. This is just a little bit of toning I'm doing to the vocals. And then what I want to look for now is a de-esser, just to make sure. And I think I can find a de-esser in Maximus. Just right click the presets. There we go. De-esser narrow band. Just throw that on. Let me look for a place where there's some S's.
Fire, and it's brighter.
There we go.
And it's brighter. It's growing big and fast. Fire, and it's brighter. It's growing big and faster, more than I expect. Fire, and it's brighter. It's growing big and faster, more than I expect.
Just drop that down a little bit.
Consumed all my flows. Realign conquer. And it's brighter. It's growing big and faster, more than I expect.
Just a little bit.
It consumed all my flow.
And if you want, you can even narrow down the frequency that you want to take out the S's from.
And it's brighter. It's growing big and faster, more than I expect.
Awesome. So now let me just go back. So when a vocal is this dynamic, you would want to control it, and you can control it by using a compressor. So what I'm going to use is the normal fruity compressor. I'm not even going to use a multi-band compressor with this. I'm going to start with just a fruity compressor. There we go. Now as you can see, the vocals is very low. You can see here. So I'm just going to drop my threshold down to like 20, maybe 25. Just raise my ratio to like 4.2 by 1. And as you can hear, it's already starting to get compressed. If I start to raise the threshold, you can hear it starts to get louder again. Just drop it to like 20. There we go. Just to control it. And then to give back a little bit of gain, I'm just going to raise, maybe give 2 dB of gain. Maybe 3. Maybe 4. That sounds good. And then at this point, our vocal is sounding okay. Let me just bring back that reverb. And if we switch the processing off, with the processing on. So it's really subtle changes of just controlling the vocal that we're doing. We're not trying to drastically change the sound, because I didn't do a lot of EQing and a lot of toning, but that's what I'm going to do now. So what I'm going to do now is add an EQ. I'll just make it bigger, and then we can start really toning the voice. So I want to give it some highs back. So I'm just gonna move number 7 and pick up number 6 and just raise over here on the highs. just to give some brightness back. Then I'm going to take number 4 and just raise it and just change the Q and just start to do a sweep just to look for those frequencies that are just really irritating out of his voice. You can hear that whistle that's happening over here. Right there. Just gonna drop that down. Whoops. Just gonna drop that down. Because his voice is very busy here in the mid-range. And this frequency over here by the low mids, I think I already taken out some of those frequencies. There we go. They're already down. Awesome. So what I did here is just to add a little bit of excitement to the vocal by adding a little bit of these highs back. Because remember, I had DS, so I had already controlled some of the highs and just taken them out. So now I just brought back some of that. So you can still use an exciter if you want to just, give a little bit of clarity into the voice. Now let me play it back with the track. You can hear how his voice is now really low at that part.
It consumed all my flows. Real and go. Go come lighter. Again, I'm a fire. I always.
So now we can add a compressor, or we can add some saturation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of saturation. And to add saturation, I can use maybe a fastest or a blood overdrive, but I like using a fastest just to be safe. And I'm going to drop down the mix, and I'm just going to give it a little bit of some volume. Just add a little bit. It's like 13%. Because you see, the distortion is kind of adding a little bit of harmonics and adding some frequencies that are not present in the voice, just to give it a little bit more body. So it's like adding warmth to the voice. So I'm just gonna put around 13. Because I don't want it to be too visible. Just a little bit like that. Awesome. Then I'm gonna add a compressor again, just to really iron everything out. That threshold. It's growing bigger, faster, more than I expect. It consumed all my flow. But my ratio is not gonna be so much. Real and go. Go come lighter, and yeah, I'm a fire. I always win. Let me go back to the quiet part. Go come lighter, and yeah, I'm a fire. I'm gonna increase the release. Drop the attack. Make it like
I
double
say
compression that I'm doing. Sounds amazing now.
I've got this fire, and it's brighter. It's growing bigger and faster, more than I expect.
I can add some gain.
It consumed all my flows. Realign, go. Go come lighter, and yeah, I'm a fighter. I always win.
Okay, so now let me do a before and after so you guys can hear what I did to the vocal. Okay, so this is without the effect.
I've got this fire, and it's brighter.
Now this is with.
I've got this fire, and it's brighter. It's growing bigger and faster, more than I expect. It consumed all my flows.
With and without.
Realign, go come lighter, and yeah, I'm a fighter. And yeah, I'm a fighter.
Sounds amazing, doesn't it? And this is
With
with
this fire.
and this is with stock plugins. So you just have to make sure that you know what you're trying to fix in the vocal instead of just putting stuff, adding it to the vocal, and then just throwing it, just trying to change the voice and hoping something will happen. So I'm just gonna mute all the stuff that I added in, and I'm gonna switch on the original, my original processing that I already done, and I'm gonna play it back.
I've got this fire, and it's brighter.
And you can hear my compression was a little bit more extra. But what I did with this nectar is that I had used the breath control. But unfortunately, the breath control gives a little bit of latency when it takes out the breath.
I've got this fire.
You can see it took out the breath over here.
I've got this fire, and it's brighter. It's growing bigger and faster, more than I expect.
Now let me bring back what I had done to the vocal.
I've got this fire, and it's brighter. It's growing bigger and faster, more than I expect.
So you tell me what you like better, because I think, you know, the first processing that I had done just has the only advantage of having the breath control. But if you can find a plugin that can do breath control on its own, you can still just add that or purchase that plugin, and then you can still use the stock plugins of FL Studio, and then you can get really perfect vocals. So that's it, guys. I think that does it for this video. I showed you that you can really make professional vocals just using stock plugins, and I was using the basic, you know, plugins. I didn't even use the multi-band compressor and try to complicate things and, you know, use other complicated plugins in FL Studio. And before I go, another thing that you guys must also take advantage of is using Patcher. Let me just load up Patcher quick. Let me just mute everything and load up Patcher. There we go. Patcher has a lot of amazing presets that are in here that are already pre-made. Like you see XY's Labs, that's auto pan, chorus, compressor, and these are like I think these are one knobs that they have already in here. You also have stuff from Ulean, and you have a lot of stuff that you can use here, you know, to just use, and you know, in your songs and your tracks that you can, you know, just throw into a channel, and then you'll be good. You have your 1K distortion, you have a detuner, you have a compressor, crusher, gator. In case you didn't know, that is, if you did know about this, then it's all good. You also have an intelligent de-esser, so that's something that you can just throw on as like throw on this de-esser, and it already has switches, and you can choose your range and all that. It is amazing. I use it sometimes when I get real lazy and I just want to throw something on there. I don't want to manually do stuff. So FL Studio comes preset with everything that you need. So in case you didn't get anything for Black Friday, it's still fine. You can still make amazing music, guys. That's what I'm trying to always tell you guys here on the channel. You can still make amazing music. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it here to the end, and if you've learned something, drop me a like down below, and don't forget to share with other producers so they can also produce and not worry about, you know, purchasing expensive plugins when they can still use stock plugins here in FL Studio. If you're new here on the channel, consider subscribing. I have a lot of great content of audio related videos and everything audio, making music, editing vocals, editing your tracks and everything like that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all of you guys. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you guys in my next video. I am X and I'm out. Peace.